I don't know who said it first or when, but it's true. That it takes no time to fall in love, but it takes you years to know what love is. But the opposite is actually true. That it takes you years, or even a lifetime, to know what love is not. And those of us who've experienced an immeasurable amount of trauma in our families, through our childhood, into our adulthood, you can overcome those things. You can. You can talk about them. If you have truly overcome them, you can talk about it. You can speak to it. Maybe try to prevent others from behaving that way, to creating suffering. There's some people out there that say that the human being, they need suffering to understand. I don't think so. I think that needless suffering has just become the product of our societies. What is a society? Why was it built? Well, when they say it takes a village, just to put some things in perspective, there's a lot of things that one person can do on their own. Let's say you want to build a house, though. Do you know how to grow a tree? The earth did that. The tree did that. You didn't do that. You simply sacrificed that tree when you made it into boards, and then you created shelter for yourself using another being, because a tree is a being. It's a life. You sacrifice a life for the shelter that you needed. But let's say that you don't have the tools. You don't have the strength. I don't know if anybody has the strength to just walk up and snap a tree in half and just, use their hands. You're going to need other things. You're going to need other elements to make tools, or you're going to need more people. It's going to take more than just yourself to take down a tree to make the boards. Or in this society, you go to the store and you buy them. But you're buying it from a company. That's another village. Whether they make a profit or however they get it, it's still all part of the same thing. I just think that personally, I have been making excuses to cope with the fact that society, even my own family, they don't value me. Maybe they did when I was younger, when I was working, I was 11 years old. I went and, cut grass and helped this lady who, literally, she handed me a few tomatoes. Or $5, for spending 4 and 5 and 6 hours mowing her lawn with a push mower. I was 11. And then I got a job at 14. And it was never enough money for me to have been able to live on at 14. But I did that because my family needed me to. So that we could, it was just a little bit that I could contribute. But I knew early on, very early on, that we all had to contribute so that we all stayed alive. Those acts of me working towards that was the gratitude for the life I was given. But as I sit here and I think about the investment that I have made, even as in this country, you're just told this is what you're supposed to do. But in reality, when people say you're not, you don't love this country, you're not an American, let me tell you something. Every single person who is waking up and breathing and going to work every day is investing into the economy. And we do that because the biggest promise of being a part of a country is that if something bad happens to all of us, we got your back. We're going to keep you safe. If something bad happens to you, while you're working and trying to take care of your families that you're raising, or even if the fact that you can even obtain enough time to build a family. Because I don't know about you, but personally, I was working 3 and 5 jobs. That's right, 5 jobs. I only slept for about 2.5 hours. And I still never had enough. The return in our investment into this country and into living in this society is not being returned. And so that message that I saw, a leader of a whole country who I didn't vote for, when he said he wants to remove anyone who is not a net asset. Net asset in business literally means equitable. It literally means an asset it means that whatever it is, if it's a person, which a person is not a thing, but in this instance, remove anyone who is not a net asset. That means equity. Why are you attacking diversity, inclusion, and not equity? You're attacking equity. It literally, that's what the word means, net asset. People will have difficulties. People that make more people. People are born sometimes with things that they're not ever going to be able to overcome. But it's not humane to remove them or take their life. And yet, he's telling you exactly what he's going to do. They're trying to design They're trying to make this country make money to be equitable, but they don't understand that even if there's not an exchange of paper that they print, those houses that you're speaking and the toys that you're texting on, all those things, none of them would be available to you to do without the power of people. Somebody's mind, and a lot of people who are mining and collecting and processing all the things that it even takes to just make a cell phone, let alone make a human being. So the best thing for a country to do, a society, is to create an environment to which life is equitable for those that you want to see equity from. And if something happens to somebody while they're doing that, they are still a net asset because they did that as far as they could until something changed, either inside of their bodies or they were in an accident. So when I say it takes no time to fall in love, that's because somebody promised you love. There's a commitment of love, and the commitment is follow through. And so when he says people that don't love this country, love is not just a promise, so much so as the government's promise needs to be delivered. It needs to be produced. We need to see it. So far, all we're seeing is what love is not. We're seeing needless suffering against groups of people who are assets. You need a bunch of different kinds of people with different kinds of ideas and skill sets so that you can build your village. Don't sell us an idea of a country, of America. Deliver what you want us to invest in. Otherwise, it's just unrequited love.